Hey everyone, I want to share how I get approvals, reduce the number of revisions anytime I'm presenting to my clients. I'm going to split them up into different videos, so check them all out if you're interested. Just really quick, I'm Miles. I'm the co-founder of Suits and Sandals. We're a digital agency creating brands, websites, all that good stuff. We started back in 2011. Our projects tend to range from $30,000 to $100,000+, with the durations being about, I want to say 6 to 12 months. So if you just want to know what the three things are and not have to watch 3 long videos, I'll give it to you right now. So the very first one that I do is I make sure that I'm aligned on vocabulary, meaning the terms that my clients are using. I want to really make sure I understand what they mean. Things like bold or make it more impactful, those types of things. The second thing that I make sure that I do is that I gather a lot of references. And it's a point of communication and making sure that I really understand what the client is reacting positively or negatively to. Now, the third one, it's collaborating with them. So I know there's a lot of kind of negativity around clients being backseat designers. Making sure that that collaborative environment is really, really rich and powerful can create really smooth experience throughout the design process. Another one, kind of a bonus one, is that I make sure that I use data. No matter what the design solution is or anything that I'm presenting, I'm making sure that it's always backed by data. I really recommend watching all of the videos because I've learned over the years that I really need all of these things to make sure that the design process is smooth and the feedback I'm getting from the client is really impactful and rich. If you have the time, check them all out. And today in this video, I'm gonna share with you the very first one, which is aligning on vocabulary. All right, let's go. Okay, align on vocabulary. It's so dumb and simple, but I can't tell you the amount of times that I've assumed what the client is saying, that I know what it means, and then I go off into this kind of exploration. I start designing really cool stuff. I get really attached to the designs. I bring it back to the client and it's not even close to what they were thinking about. And so now I'm stuck in this endless loop of revisions trying to figure out what do they actually like. So as an example, if someone says this needs to be a really bold website, that could mean so many things. That could mean bold fonts, that could mean bold imagery, and then within that, what type of imagery. Maybe it's the subject of the image, or maybe it's just literally the size. I'm gonna share with you what I do to kind of align myself with my clients and make sure that I don't fall into that trap. So we use gradient line graph. So this is a 2-dimensional graph where on one end I have kind of references for a specific characteristic, on the other end another kind of variation of that characteristic. So as an example, again with bold, maybe on one end I'll have bold typography, on the other end I'll have bold imagery. I will have 5 points along that line, and as you move from one end of the spectrum to the other, it starts to kind of morph into more bold imagery, as an example. That type of gradient is really, really powerful and something that we always do at the very beginning of the design process. Anytime we need to add a layer of dimension to what we're trying to understand, we'll move from a gradient into more of a matrix chart. As an example, again with bold, maybe on the x-axis it's bold typography. Then on the y-axis, potentially it's the size and scale of the fonts. So that gives us a lot more play in terms of the dimensionality of exactly what the client is looking for. So with mood boards, we don't really use it in the traditional sense where, during your discovery and research process, you present some mood boards of, different style directions. We found that over the years that, you really miss out on a lot of the nuances, and you really want to make sure you're fully aligned with your client, right? Because these types of nuances that you might have, misunderstood in that process won't crop up until you start presenting final designs to them and you're getting tons of revisions, because they're just waiting for you to address that one little thing. And so what we do with mood boards is we use it at the very, very beginning just to show here's what the landscape looks like. So it's more of this kind of study into what's out there. It's by no means a recommendation on a specific direction, and definitely not just jumping right into visual design after a client chooses a particular mood board. We do use a final mood board, which is kind of more of a stylescape in a way, as the final deliverable coming out of our discovery and research process. This is kind of the synthesis of it. And that's how we get our final approval to then get into the actual process of visual design. That's the very first thing that I do, is I make sure that I'm aligned on vocabularies and terms with my client. I use those 3 tried and true methods of creating gradients, matrix charts, and utilizing some mood boards to really make sure that we're honed in, that I'm pinpointing exact nuances and the little details that the client is attracted to. I hope you found that helpful. Really check out the other videos. It's really what's guaranteed our agency's success over the years. I'll catch you on the next one.